In a forest, shimmering with magical light, a tiny, winged fairy named Pip clutched a glowing seed. This wasn't just any seed. It was the last ember bloom, the heart of the forest's magic, and it was fading. Above him, a colossal shadow flickered between the ancient trees. It was Griselda, a stone golem whose heart was a cage of cold, dark rock. She lumbered closer, her heavy footsteps shaking, the very ground Pip stood on. He had to get the seed to the sunken grove before its light died completely. With a deep breath, Pip shot into the air, a streak of emerald light against the deepening twilight. Griselda roared, her stony hand swiping at him. He dodged, spiraling through a thorny vine archway. The golem, too large to follow, smashed through the tangle, thorns scraping harmlessly against her rock skin. She was getting closer. Pip saw his chance. A narrow chasm just ahead, too wide for Griselda to cross in a single step. He zipped across the gap, landing on the other side. As he turned, he saw Griselda pause at the edge. She was going to make a bridge. Pip's wings beat frantically. The sunken grove was just through the Whispering Falls, but the waterfall was a thunderous torrent, impossible to fly through directly. Suddenly, Griselda heaved the massive tree across the chasm. It landed with a deafening crash, just a few feet from Pip. He darted towards the falls, the roar of the water growing louder. He had to find another way. He spotted a hidden ledge behind the cascade of water. It was a risky path, slick and treacherous, but it was his only hope. As Griselda's footsteps thundered across her new bridge, Pip slipped behind the curtain of water. The air behind the falls was misty and damp. The path was barely wide enough for his tiny feet. He could see the dark shape of Griselda through the shimmering water, searching for him. The amber bloom in his hands flickered, its light now dangerously dim. He had to hurry. He followed the ledge as it curved deeper into the rock, leading to a small, dark opening a tunnel. Could this be a shortcut? He plunged into the darkness, the seed providing the only light. The tunnel was tight and winding, and strange echoes bounced off the walls. After a few moments, he saw a faint light ahead. He burst out of the tunnel and found himself in a serene, glowing cavern. This was the sunken grove. In the center of the grove was a pedestal of soft, living moss. He knew what he had to do. He flew to the pedestal and gently placed the fading ember bloom upon it. As soon as it touched the moss, brilliant roots of light erupted from the seed, burrowing deep into the ground. The light spread outwards, surging through the grove, up the walls of the cavern, and back through the tunnel he'd just left. The entire forest began to glow with renewed life. Just then, Griselda burst through the waterfall entrance, her eyes fixed on the Neradian seed. She let out a furious roar and charged forward. But as she stepped into the grove, the waves of light washed over her. She stumbled, not from the force, but from something else. The light touched the stone cage around her heart, and for the first time, a crack appeared. The crack widened, and a soft, warm light poured out from within Griselda's chest. The dark rock began to crumble away, not into dust, but into soil rich with life. Tiny flowers and vines sprouted all over her body, her stony form softening and changing. Her furious roar subsided into a gentle hum. She was no longer a monster of stone, but a guardian of the earth, covered in vibrant flora. Griselda looked down at Pip, her once menacing eyes now filled with a strange warmth, a silent gratitude. The forest was safe, its magic restored. Pip, exhausted but triumphant, hovered before the new guardian. He realized she wasn't trying to destroy the seed. She was drawn to its light, desperate for the life it held. The two stood together, a tiny fairy and a living mountain, partners in the magic of the newly reborn forest. Thank you so much for watching our story. If you enjoyed this little adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next one. See you soon. In the heart of an ancient, shimmering forest, Lyra sprinted, her silver hair a streak against the emerald glow. Behind her, a hulking shadow beast crashed through the undergrowth, its roar shaking the very leaves from the trees. Every few seconds, she risked a glance back, its glowing red eyes getting closer. its massive claws tearing up the earth where she'd just been. She clutched the glowing shard in her hand, its warmth pulsing with a desperate rhythm against her palm. This was the heart of the forest, and she was its last hope. Up ahead, a chasm, impossibly wide, split the forest floor. There was no way across. Trapped. The beast was almost upon her, its hot breath on her neck. Suddenly, a figure dropped from the canopy above, landing silently between her and the monster. It was Kale, his face grim, twin daggers already drawn. "Lyra, now!" he yelled, his voice cutting through the beast's snarls. He lunged, a blur of motion, his daggers striking sparks against the creature's tough, shadowy hide. But the beast was too strong. It swatted him aside like a fly, sending him tumbling toward the chasm's edge. He scrambled for a handhold, dangling precariously over the abyss. Lyra screamed his name, her heart pounding. The shard in her hand flared with brilliant light, reacting to her fear and desperation. "The shard, Lyra. Use it," Kale shouted, his grip slipping. The beast turned its attention back to her, its eyes burning with hunger. She had to choose: save Kale or protect the shard. The legend said the heart could reshape the land itself. An idea, wild and desperate, sparked in her mind. Holding the shard high, she poured all her will, all her hope into it. "Bridge the divide," she cried out. A blinding beam of light shot from the shard, striking the chasm's opposite edge. The ground trembled. Vines, thick as ancient trees, erupted from the earth, weaving and twisting together at impossible speed, forming a living, breathing bridge across the void. Kale stared in awe as the bridge solidified beneath him. He scrambled to safety, back to her side. But the beast wasn't finished. It let out a furious roar and charged onto the newly formed bridge, its weight making the entire structure groan. "It won't hold,"
Kale yelled, grabbing her arm and pulling her toward the other side.
They ran, the vine bridge swaying violently under the beast's relentless pursuit. Splinters of magical wood and glowing leaves flew into the air as the beast's claws tore at the bridge. They were halfway across when the vines behind them began to snap and unravel, plunging into the darkness below. Just as they reached the far side, the entire bridge collapsed, taking the roaring shadow beast with it into the bottomless chasm. A final, echoing roar faded into silence. They collapsed, gasping for breath, the forest around them slowly quieting. The shard in Lyra's hand dimmed to a soft, gentle glow. Kale looked at her, his eyes wide with a mix of relief and wonder. "You did it?" he breathed. "You controlled it." Lyra looked at the shard, then at the vast chasm, a permanent scar on the forest floor. She knew this was just the beginning. The shadows were stirring, and only the heart of the forest could hold them back. They had won the battle, but the real adventure was just starting. Thanks for watching. If you loved this adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from magical worlds. See you next time!